Quick jobs for James. James the Red Engine likes to work hard on the island of Sodor. He always does his best to make sure that he keeps his jobs ahead of schedule. One day, the Fat Controller came to see him, and James set off to the yard to collect his train. When he arrived, Charlie shunted his trucks into place. As soon as James was coupled up to his trucks, he steamed away to the docks. James did his best to make up for lost time. At last he finally arrived at the docks, just as Salty arrived with the vans. As he was uncoupled from his train, James coupled up to the vans, and he set off to the fishing village. James was tired out, but he was working so hard he did his best to keep his job ahead of schedule. At last, he finally arrived at the fishing village. Arthur was there waiting for him. As soon as James left the fishing village, he went to the yard to collect a few of the... As soon as James left the fishing village, he went to the yard to collect the As soon as James left the fishing village, he went to the yard to collect the fuel tankers and made his way to the depot. But as he made his way, his driver noticed that James was almost running out of water. But I'm afraid he wasn't. His tank was soon empty, and he was stuck on the main line. James then began to worry that he was going to be late. Just then, Edward pulled up. Just then, Edward pulled up. His driver and fireman explained what had happened. Edward switched lines and coupled up to James. And with a huge effort, Edward pulled James and his trucks all the way to the depot. Edward pulled and puffed and puffed and pulled as hard as he could. At last, battered, weary but unbeaten, he steamed into the depot. The Fat Controller was there. He was proud with Edward. He then turned to James. James was worried that he would be cross, but the Fat Controller was smiling. James beamed happier than ever. That night, when he was filled up with water, he went back to the shed. And as he went to sleep, he was pleased with the hard work he did today.